After reuniting, reconnecting with my dad, he showed me the little letter that I wrote him that he kept all that time at his office desk, and he would look at it every day. He had no idea, but the whole time I had kept this letter where I knew it would be safe for 20 years. So we had both been holding on to mementos for 2 decades.
Children can be easily manipulated by one parent into hating and fearing their other parent. This is child abuse. This is domestic abuse by proxy. This is called parental alienation. But it is possible to fight. Adult children do wake up to reality. Alienated parents do get their children back.
Good morning and welcome to the Anti-Alienation Project, where I talk about all things parental alienation from the point of view of an adult child who's been through it. Today on the project, I'm going to bring my personal experience and relate it back to the theory of cognitive dissonance, which is something that definitely goes on with the child who's experiencing parental alienation. Let's start with my story. The night my dad left the house when he was forced to, my dad wrote me a special letter. He also wrote me a letter to read to my brothers. I woke up that morning and my dad wasn't there. I saw on my bedside drawer a letter. I was 9 years old at the time. I've kept this letter for the past 20 years. As a child, adolescent, teenager, I would always keep the letter in one of my dresser drawers, hidden beneath my clothes.
I'm a little weirdo, so, you know.
I don't know why I hid it. I think maybe I was scared someone would find it, and also I didn't want anyone to take it.
Don't you even think about it!
It was important to me that I kept this letter. At the same time, I never really knew why it was so important to me. And then as I got older and started going to college and living on my own, I began to keep the letter in my wallet. Now that I know that my beliefs about my dad were brainwashed into me and false,
Thanks, Mom.
I realized that I probably kept this letter for other reasons than I ever imagined. Maybe it was a part of me trying to hold on to the hope that he did love me all this time. I just wanted to show you the state of this letter because it might shock you. It's been ripped and taped. It has so many creases in it because of the amount of times I have unfolded it and folded it to read it. After reuniting, reconnecting with my dad, he showed me the little letter that I wrote him that he kept all that time at his office desk, and he would look at it every day. He had no idea, but the whole time I had kept this letter where I knew it would be safe for 20 years. So we had both been holding on to mementos for 2 decades, which really shows that we do love each other. A lot of alienated parents have contacted me saying, I still have the drawings that my baby made for me. I wanted to make this video because I'm sure that there are a lot of alienated children out there who have kept your letters too, and who have kept your special gifts too. You just don't know about it, at least not yet. And I woke up the next morning, he was gone, and I read this. Madison, I want to tell you how much I love you and how much I'm proud of you. I'm sorry we're going through this very hard time. Mom and I are not getting along at all, obviously. It was obvious. But that doesn't mean that you and I can't still love each other. This is eerie because it's almost like he predicted what was going to happen, or he feared it. You are my special only daughter, and I'll always try to be the best dad that I can be for you. Maybe you can keep the magnets and smooth rock that we both like to remind you of me till I see you again. That's right. By the letter, he left a magnet and a smooth rock. We like to have rock collections together. Now that's something I do with my daughter. He said, when you say your prayers at night, just imagine I'm holding your hand and I'll pretend to do the same thing.
I've been to therapy before.
I'll always love you, Dad. P.S. Mats, could you please help the boys read their letters? I never thought that I would be sharing this letter with anyone. It's so special to me that I've always wanted to keep it to myself. No one has ever known about this letter or that I kept it until I told my dad on Christmas after he gave me that gift. It's like, I kept your letter too, showed it to him. And he tells me now that it means so much that I kept all these things. He never imagined that I kept anything like that. Sharing this letter now, though, is part of sharing my story. offering hope and encouragement, because I know from hearing from all of you alienated parents and just from imagining and trying to put myself in that position, how desperate and at times hopeless it must feel. Your child is experiencing cognitive dissonance, and that's why they can't quite square their beliefs with the facts. If you're not aware what cognitive dissonance is, it's basically when a person feels discomfort when their behavior does not align with their values and their beliefs. Another way to explain it is it's a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a person holds two contradictory beliefs at the same time. I think in my example, it would have been, my dad doesn't love me, but he wrote this letter where he expresses his love, and in the letter he seems to love me. There's that contradictory belief that he doesn't love me, but his behavior is showing me that he does.
It's all very confusing.
And that's ultimately what I think children of alienation experience. They see and hear and sometimes even might feel the love of the other parent to some extent, yet they do believe that the parent is either bad or mean or selfish or crazy or doesn't love them. It's information that is contradicting each other, and they don't know what to do about that. Another clear example that people give is when people who love animals eat meat, and if they think about the meat for too long and where it's coming from, they might feel discomfort, cognitive dissonance. What does cognitive dissonance feel like?
It feels like this guy in English right here, actually.
It creates discomfort. Since learning the truth, for me, I haven't had any cognitive dissonance with this anymore. Really, I don't experience cognitive dissonance in my life much at all. Cognitive dissonance can lead to certain behaviors: avoiding, delegitimizing, and limiting contact. So in the avoiding example, a child may avoid anything that reminds them of this incongruency. Delegitimizing is something that is probably used more often, basically discrediting the group or situation or person who's causing the dissonance. Third, by limiting contact. In limiting contact, the person tries to disqualify its importance. It's just a one-off thing. It doesn't mean much. They create these arguments or justifications, really, for why their actions and their beliefs don't match up and why that's okay. Something that I would tell myself is, I'm just keeping this letter because I don't want to forget everything that happened when I was younger. Or it's just something I'm keeping. It's only important to me because I don't have many letters from my dad. Just anything to avoid the heart of the matter. In parental alienation, children will make all types of rationalizations, justifications. They'll tell themselves stories, any type of explanation that will deny what's really in their subconscious that they can't access, that they want to have a loving relationship with you. Here are some factors that can cause cognitive dissonance. There are three. It's forced compliance, decision-making, and effort. I think the one that's most relevant in this situation is forced compliance. It's described here as when a person may have to do things they disagree with as part of a job, or being bullied or abused to follow the law, or in this case, the rules. As many of my family members have told me, I didn't stand a chance. I think that's the case with a lot of children. They don't stand a chance. They're being forced to experience cognitive dissonance, which is a really profoundly upsetting feeling. It's more than just a feeling of frustration or agitation. Like this quote explains, the internal discomfort and tension of cognitive dissonance could contribute to stress or unhappiness. Check. People who experience dissonance but have no way to resolve it may also feel powerless or guilty. Enter learned helplessness. Enter guilt and shame manufactured by their pathological parent. None of this has to happen. It's a big fabrication. This shows the power that parents have to affect their children's lives, short and long term. Incredible power. I try to tie in hope at the end of every episode. Awareness of cognitive dissonance, especially in this scenario, is vital. The great thing about cognitive dissonance is that it's a huge tool for creating social and personal change. You can call a person's attention to the dissonance between their behavior and their values, or the dissonance between two beliefs or two ideas that they have at the same time. You can increase their awareness about this inconsistency, and this will empower them to act. Maybe a tool for getting your child to wake up to what's going on with them is to be more loving, is to be more vocal and more demonstrative with your love. Cover your child in love. That way the level of cognitive dissonance that they're going to feel will get stronger and stronger, eventually prompting them to analyze the situation. The levels of discomfort will become so high, they're going to have to square it away. What's going on? My parent seems to really want a relationship. They seem to really love me. They seem to be really healthy and really happy, and they don't seem to be this crazy or selfish person that I've been made to believe. What is going on? Why am I still treating them this way then? This can really get a lot of kids to wake up. I know it can. That brings us to the end of this episode. If you'd like to watch the video of the letter that my dad kept from me when I was 7, all the way to the time of last year, and the gift that he made me from that letter, then please click here. I'll try to figure out how to put the little box. I wanted to let you know I've actually made an Instagram page, a TikTok page to hopefully reach those younger kids who are going through this, and then third, a Facebook page. I just bit the bullet and did it. I like using social media as a tool. I bit the bullet and did it. I set these pages up to hopefully get the word out there. And I have an exciting announcement coming up soon, so stay tuned. As always, thanks for tuning in with the Anti-Alienation Project. I'm Maddie, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.